Hello, Bernard Mathis, Mathis Financial Services. And today we're going to be talking about a serious question, money questions to ask your partner before you get married. Usually everybody's all excited about getting married. He's glad that he asked. She's glad that he asked her. And all the other stuff of life has just kind of gone and jumped out the window. In fact, every time I show this to some of my partners, they say, well, I wish I had read this before I got married. And so today, that's what we're going to talk about. Money questions to ask your partner before you get married. Now, this is basically a little bit of a sticky subject because now you're asking the questions. You've gone out to dinners and you just everything lavish, but you need to find out. You need a definitive position about money. Money has killed more marriages than anything else. So let's go with question number one. Do you have any debt? And all of a sudden, you get some silence. Because in my mind, I'm thinking about the car payment, the apartment payment, taking the dog to the groomer, or even better yet, do you have any debt? Can we sit down and each show you our budgets? You write a budget and you tell me all the stuff that you owe, paying out every month, and I fess up and show you everything I'm paying out every month, and then everybody's in fair shape, because the question looms still is, or a piece of this question should be, not only do you have any debt, the question might be, do you have any delinquent accounts? Even better. So that's just a question to ask. One question to ask. One question to ponder. Number two, how do you value money? Everybody values money differently. Some people are hoarders. I mean, if they got a job, they probably got the first dollar on their wall that they made from that job. Whereas other folks, if they made $100, they spent 99. That's a good question to ask. It's a good thing to know. How do you value money? Number three, how do you spend money? You take me out to all these lavish dinners and stuff. How do you spend money? You may come home and, man, I got dresses and shoes that's hanging in the closet I've never even worn, or have suits and shoes or golf clubs or some anything. Never even use them. Just that I want it. I never had it. I can afford it. I'm gonna get it, and that's what the person does. They spend money on stuff sometimes that they need. Sometimes they spend money on stuff that they don't need. They go to lunch at places and spend $20, $30 for lunch. I don't know how you spend $30 for lunch. My budget is not that big. Next, should we merge our money? That becomes a big question. Because now, if we merge our money, put it all in the same account, then you may, you put up $100, but you spent $200. So should we merge our accounts? Or should we just say, well, you have an account, I have an account, everybody, these are the bills that we're gonna pay. And we divvy up, or have a house account, so that, okay, I gotta put up $1,000, each of us put $1,000 in that house account, that takes care of everything in the house. Anything that's in my personal account, I can spend it and have a good time with it. Next question, will you make a budget with me? Okay, now we're sitting down and saying, well, okay, well, let's do this. We've got house note, car note, Chicken George note, whatever it is, we're gonna line it up on the piece of paper. And then we're gonna split it down the middle as we pay. Then, very valid question is, what are your financial goals? I mean, are you trying to be a gazillionaire by a specific age? And if you are, what are you doing toward being a gazillionaire? Or the other partner says, I don't really have an issue with being a gazillionaire. I'm just, I just want money. I just want to have spendable money, and if it gets a little tight, it's all okay. So, what are your financial goals? Are you into buying stocks? Are you into buying houses? Or tell me. Let's talk about how we're going to do this money thing, which is a lot of times persons don't ask, and then all of a sudden some things happen, and that's kind of the normal rule. But I'm saying this to you that early, as in life, what are your long-term goals with money? Here again, gazillionaire. Immediate goals, I want to always have $10,000 in the bank just in case the car dies, the dog has to go to the doctor, whatever. And then I've got my long-term goals of trying to get to be a gazillionaire. Do you have any worries about finances? And all those things need to come to the table. What happens if I lose my job? What happens if I get sick? Can you carry the load? Can the other person carry the load until I get out of these things? What if something really happened to me and I passed away? That's a financial position. I've talked about this once before. On that position is that I had sat down with a couple. They just gotten married, and we talked about insuring both of them, doing $100,000 worth of life insurance on each of them. And the guy jumped up from the table and said, "I can't do it. I just can't see myself owning $100,000 life insurance policy. I just can't do it." And I'm going, "Okay, why can't you do it?" And he says, "Well, my daddy told me that if I buy a $100,000 life insurance policy on myself, my wife will kill me in my sleep." And I said, "Okay." And he quite adamant. He didn't buy it. Met with another couple. The guy, they actually had 6 kids. One was an armed baby, and tried to insure the guy. And we were using term insurance, the cheapest insurance you could buy with both these persons. And he never would go take his exam. And so we talked about, well, let's move it down from a $250,000 policy down to $100,000, and he still wouldn't go take the exam. And it just depends, because another person, same situation, 4 kids, same age group as these other persons, bought a $250,000 contract. No problem, because he wanted to make sure that if something happened to him, that his kids, his wife, and his kids were taken care of. That's something to have a conversation about long before you get married, so there won't be a fight, because it just happens that this was a guy that did it. I rarely run into the ladies that don't want to buy life insurance to make sure that their kids are in good order. And then adding to that is, if you were to have an issue, then you can always have the money placed in a trust fund for the kids or for the husband, or just split the contract up so that there's some left, pay the house off and all kinds of stuff, pay off my bills, and then the balance is placed into a trust fund for young kids. So it just varies, but it's something very, very important to talk about, and that way we won't have any issues and we won't have any issues at the end. So I thank you, and please, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and tell your friends so that they can come and join us. And I thank you. Bye-bye.